Yo guys, this is No Gym Needed coming to you for a discussion on the in-game of solo leveling. I know you like that thumbnail with Cha Hain, Jin Woo's future wife. Alright guys, we know that trash-talking Canadian guy we just knew. He was gonna meet the Lord of Destruction. Is that the Lord of Destruction? Yes, I believe so. Because he would want to get out of the crack in the dimensions he's been stuck in for so long, and smell the fresh air. Plus, he's fully confident in his abilities. He'll probably kill everyone in the vicinity before reascending into the gate. Also, I guess this means all the gates opened up at the same time. Only Jin Woo's opened 7 days prior. They were pretty vague on the details. That's happened a few times. They were really vague or kind of misleading on some things. Like, I'll get into that in a second with something that Osborne said to Jin Woo, but it's not a big deal. It just makes it a little harder for us to speculate. Now, does Jin Woo have a shadow for one of the Canadians there so he can do the shadow exchange? Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't need shadow exchange anymore. Jin Woo is a full-blown sovereign, so will he go to Canada? Even if the guy is talking crap, Song Jin Woo will go. But by that time, it may already be over. Let's examine some potential scenarios that could play out. He gets there. Everyone in the area is dead. The Lord of Destruction, gone. Jin Woo's state of mind crumbles a little and starts fearing the worst. Remember, this ain't some DBZ with the most convenient plot device in the world. As far as we know, if you die, you're dead. You're a bist. That's gonna be our new term. Like that Canadian foo, he's about to be seriously a bist, bruh. Straight dismissed into the abyss, y'all. Then, Jin Woo debates. Should he go into the gate and fight them on the other side to avoid more casualties? And that's the Sovereign's trap. They want to lure him into the crack between the dimensions, then somehow terminate the gate, all of the gates, and make Jin Woo trapped in there while they destroy Earth ahead of the ruler's arrival. They probably think Jin Woo hasn't mastered Osborne's powers yet, and they'd be right. And they assume he wouldn't know how to escape from the crack between dimensions. Then either Jin Woo's extreme emotions will unlock more powers, or he'll talk to Osborne again, or the rulers will save him, though I doubt that. Because the crack in dimensions was supposed to be in a secret spot the rulers didn't know about. Or maybe the absolute being will reveal itself to Jin Woo, because it's inside him. It's the source of his power. As I speculated before, the abyss was just nothingness until the absolute being, quote unquote, died. Then it went inside Osborne. Or maybe a special tool went inside Osborne, but if it was a tool of its might, then I'm betting that that tool retained a part of its consciousness. So the absolute being split up into tools, but with its final bit of consciousness, it went into Osborne with that, whatever the final tool was. So, absolute being, a fragment of it with its consciousness, whatever. And that's the reason the Shadow Sovereign has always had almost limitless and unique powers. But how is the Lord of Destruction going to relocate all of the armies to where Jin Woo is? Because he was looking for Jin Woo. Let's assume he wants to go to where Jin Woo is. He can't make small gates for the whole 100 million denizens, could he? Wouldn't it be faster to exit in Canada and march to China? Although you have to cross the ocean. They could swim and fly, but Jin Woo wouldn't let them kill everything in between that. You know, he wouldn't let them just go on a death march. Wink. Shh. So the most likely scenario is the Dragon King sending Jin Woo a message. Let's say he kills everyone around the Canada Gate, but he leaves just one person, and then has that person tell Jinwoo, if you don't want a repeat of this, come into the gate and find me. Now, an army's formation is very, very important if you want to win the battle. The formation of the army is an extremely important strategy, and the fact that no dragons came out with him tells me they're in some kind of special format within the gate, waiting beyond the gate. Now, what's the terrain like in there? I'm really not sure. Maybe we'll get to see more of those bizarre rock formations that Baran was leaning on as he died, the King of Demons in the system playback. But now, this is what I was talking about with the little contradictions. The Shadow Sovereign showed Jinwoo the vision of all the dragons descending out of the Sky Gate. And that threw me off a little bit, because we figured that was what was going to happen. But I remembered, even before I made this or speculated or anything like that, when I first read that, I was thinking, in the vision he showed those dragons coming out of the gate and scorching every city they came to. And I knew that was just like a vision of one of the times in the past when the earth had been destroyed, because now Jinwoo was here, and he was not going to let those dragons scorch even one city if he had anything to do about it. So, yeah. Well, I think we're headed into the gate for a bit. How close are the gates to each other on the other side? So let's say you go through the Canada Gate and you're in whatever, the crack between dimensions. From there, how far is the China Gate? Is it the same distance as real life, or from the Earth side? And if Jinwoo won't go in the Lord of Dragons, Lord of Destruction, I think he'll just pop out and kill people, and then go back in the gate, and come out at a different gate, pop out, kill people, and then Jinwoo will be trying to play whack-a-mole with him. It'll be whack-a-sovereign, until Jinwoo enters the Sky Gate, where they're perched and ready for him. Jinwoo's gotta go in there. It's not gonna be a favorable situation. Jinwoo will take the bait. I'm theorizing. Jinwoo's gonna take the bait. Then the rulers will come to Earth, only to find it relatively peaceful instead of destitute, then become confused. Well, I don't know how the rulers are very smart. They could probably find a way to communicate with humans. They've probably mastered the human language as well as the monster language. So yeah, we've seen multiple people, I'm pretty sure, who can speak human language and monster language. I mean, think about it. Jinwoo's dad spoke human language. Then he got stuck in the gate, went into the crack between dimensions. The rulers eventually found him, and somehow he learned how to communicate with them, and they learned how to understand him. So we can assume that the rulers will have a way of communicating with the humans. Then the armies of the sovereigns. Picture this. The rulers are there, they communicate with the Earthlings. The Earthlings say how Jinwoo went into the gate to try to save everyone, and it's just been like that. They've just been waiting to see what happens. And then the armies of the sovereigns flood out of the gate. Everyone starts to lose hope. The rulers prepare for battle and start fighting the sovereigns. But then, something odd. The seemingly never-ending flood of denizen soldiers coming out of the gate from Canada or Seoul, I don't know which one it'll be at that time. The flood just stops, far short of the 100 million that was supposed to be there. In fact, only about half are left. Jinwoo beat half the army, but the last one to come out of the gate is none other than the king of Berserk Dragons, holding a dead Jinwoo. His hand pierced through Jinwoo's chest. A public beheading should do the trick and make these denizens of Earth properly fear. And the rulers too should realize their place before us, the Lord of Destruction says. Then he swings his hand towards Song Jinwoo. As his hand nears Jinwoo's neck, a twinkle in his eye. Then, arise. Receiving his new powers from the Absolute Being, Jinwoo resurrects and summons the greatest shadow army ever. And he fights the King of Dragons and defeats him. Of course, I think the Sovereigns will tell us a new narrative that may get us to sympathize with them a little bit. I'm sure Jinwoo, from his unique perspective, will end up calling out a contradiction in their views, and he will do what he has to protect Earth and humans. Then the rulers will come, and we'll get their side of the story too. But I believe, finally, the Absolute Being will show up and speak. Jinwoo has a power-up in store. I'm sure of that. He is not done leveling up. Jinwoo alone levels up. Yeah, so there's been a big emphasis on like the politics and stuff. What the leader of this nation is saying, how this nation's reacting. That definitely makes it feel more real. I wasn't expecting that though. We're so late in the game, you know? I thought that was just going to get drowned out by the epicness of what was going to happen, but they're really focusing on that, so yeah. Okay, anyways, that's it for now, guys. I'll see you in the next video.